was hoping that was going to make a really cool bottle opening sound, and it made none.
Now we're good. Thank you.
We're good, thanks.
The wonderful bartender just came in with chilled mugs, but we're just grooving on the music this time, huh? Which way is it, right or left?
Turn it down.
I did it right. I think I got it.
Didn't you have one of those TVs with like the channel and then
yes,
the volume?
Yes, I did. Hello and welcome to the Moon Underwater. I'm Kelly Daniels.
And I am Steve Jones.
Steve, you're looking downright scrawny, man.
I know. I'm working on it. I got 7 pounds to lose before Nashville.
All right. That's good, but your next performance review is you're going to have to bulk up, man.
I am. I'm working on it. I was at the gym today, which
nice.
I have to schedule out of my day.
Oh, you look healthy. So
I'm working on looking unhealthy.
Glad to see. Okay.
I haven't had any alcohol since Saturday. Wow. I know.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a long time. Today's Sunday as we record this, but
yes,
still.
All day. Yeah.
Not really.
No.
So, hey.
Wait, I have something I want to start with.
Okay, go for it.
I watched a movie that you watched recently.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about that movie today.
Okay.
But I had Dr. Daniels in the back of my head going, how come they can only go this high? This doesn't make any sense.
Ruined it.
And you ruined it for me.
Excellent. I love it. I love it.
And really, it was you laughing out loud at the movie while you were watching it. The movie was Elevation, by the way.
I saw that too. It was fun. I
was
watched
fun.
the whole thing, and I was never bored, but I was rolling my R's pretty hard.
Me too.
And I was also cringing a little. The acting was not good.
No, and for New Captain America, that's, not the movie you do when you're New Captain America.
No, I don't think so.
Right.
It's, but also, I do, the plot was hard to buy, but...
there's no baddie backstory. That's why it's not worth talking about. It's just like, well, there's just bad guys. And you don't know why they're bad and why they got there, but they're just...
There may be a sequel.
I'm guaranteeing you there will be.
Yeah.
That's what I told you.
They're aliens, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So here's my my hook on today's topic.
Right.
Oh, pardon me.
You are pardoned.
I have to... I like to think I always learn something from these podcasts and from the texts we consume.
Okay.
But this time I definitely learned something very specific and maybe even useful, and that is preppers, people who are survivalists who will outlast us. If the shit goes down, they invest a lot of time and money in things like guns and food supplies and bunkers and things like that.
Yep.
Well, they are closeted homosexuals.
All of them.
And, well, yeah. Okay, I want to be clear here. Not all homosexuals are preppers.
Right.
But all preppers
are homosexuals.
I think it makes a lot of sense because...
If you don't think about it, yes.
It makes a lot of sense because of all of that frustration, that sexual frustration and hiding who you are. It's got to come out somewhere.
Right.
And so it comes out in a way that is... kind of a win. I mean, if nothing bad happens, then you have a fun hobby.
Right.
And if everything does collapse, wow, you're ready.
Yeah.
So that's what we are talking about today is episode 3 of The Last of Us. And I thought we would talk about it mostly as just a standalone. It has the beginning and end connects to the bigger plot, but really it's a side quest.
I vaguely watched this series, meaning I was usually doing something else.
Yeah.
And I don't remember really how it ended.
Yeah.
I didn't really remember this episode.
Yeah.
So that tells me I didn't really watch it.
And I don't think it's that important to know. All it is mushroom zombies.
Yep.
And they're everywhere.
Yeah.
And the governments of the world, the United States for sure, became authoritarian.
Yeah.
And we saw a little bit of that. And, I kind of cut you off, though.
I gotta... I already have a beef.
You have a beef?
Already with this.
A beefer.
Yeah. The problem I have, and I want your take on this, because you'll ruin these for me then going forward, video games being made into consumable media. And go. What's your position?
Video games being made
like stuff that we're watching,
into
reading. Sometimes there's like books that people write about video games.
So The Last of Us was a video game first. Okay. I usually think it should go the other way, but I don't know. I mean, I don't have an opinion. I will say I liked a few of the episodes of the whole series.
Yeah.
But I was kind of like not interested by the time they got to the end of the season.
I was bored by the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but this one episode I thought was really outstanding. I thought the acting was amazing. Anyway, there's a lot of things I love about this, and that's kind of why I wanted to
that's fair.
Talk about it, and also why I wanted to talk about it without having to get bogged down in the overall plot of The Last of Us.
Yeah. I would, and so for me,
it could have been here. Think about it. It could have been any kind of apocalypse. It could have been World War III.
Didn't matter.
And those guys would have still, the one guy. There's raiders around. That's any kind of a plot. So, and I never watched Parks and Rec, but I am a huge Nick Offerman fan. Like, he was so amazing, and I trust he wasn't like this in Parks and Rec. He just played this part, and it was just this guy, and it seemed...
Parks and Rec is a really good show that I could not finish.
Oh, really?
It was one of those that, and we've done it a couple times. We've watched like the first 4 or 5 seasons, and then we're like, just go to something else. He is brilliant on the show.
Yeah.
And he's not that far off from what you see there.
Yeah, but I think there's some. Yeah, I haven't seen him on Parks and Rec, but his prepperness, his intensity, he's the guy that. So once all the people are gone and he's there by himself and he has set up his situation to where it is tight.
Yeah,
he is happy as a clam. Like, finally, it's my time. You do get the feeling that people who prepare like this, they just really want it to happen.
Yeah.
Like, it's most of us, we don't really want it to happen.
Do you know any preppers?
Well, if I do, I would I would be nervous going into the shower. No, I'm not. Just a little homophobia there.
That's going to come. There's more of that later from me.
We're a complete. Maybe the makeout scene and stuff made you aren't there yet.
But I'm going to defend myself
in your evolution.
You can cancel me, but I am going to defend myself. That's the hook.
Are we going to wait to get there? Okay,
we will.
Yeah,
I know a prepper.
Yeah, you do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like, has he ever hit on you?
No.
He's really holding it in
with food in the basement.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know whose house I'm going to when shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
There's like, you're prepping. I'm
you're a moocher.
I am.
I think that's a better way to be.
Yeah.
Moocher, you're covering all the bets. You don't have to do all the work.
No, just know somebody who's a prepper.
Yeah. And then you have to be his lover, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's a makeout scene coming.
That's the price you pay, but
Well, you want to live or not?
And it wasn't just live, man. They were living life, man. It was that food was great. Yeah, we can just get into the start.
Yeah, it's an apocalypse. He's been hiding out in his basement. This is played by Nick Offerman. It's Bill.
Bill's his name, and
he literally has a bunker.
Yeah. So what's happening is the U.S. Army or some soldier group
is the jackbooted thugs.
Jackbooted thugs are rounding up all of the citizens because there's a contagion.
Right.
And they want to make sure they can control. Vaguely familiar. They want to control the situation. And just as we all suspected, if they round you up and put you in a truck to say they're going to bring you somewhere nice, they're just going to bring you to a field and just gun you down. And to be fair, they said that if there was room in these places they had.
The QZs,
they would bring you, but if they ran out of room, they would just shoot you. And they say, why did they shoot him? Why didn't they just let him be? It's like, because a dead person can't get infected.
That's right.
So
that's pretty good.
So Bill, the paranoid prepper who's been telling everybody his whole life that,
it's coming.
They're going to come, and then everybody's like, yeah, whatever, weirdo. And he's lives in his house by himself. His mom used to live with him, and she died. He's the middle-aged male who lives with his mom and spends a lot of time in his basement.
Right.
So,
but his basement is a really cool bunkery basement because he's got like a chest above it that's rigged up that it's actually the door.
Yeah.
So that's how he avoids getting rounded up by the jackbooted thugs.
Yeah, and I think there's another basement that's like a lure them out because they said, "Oh, we already checked the basement."
Oh.
And he's below with a gun, and he's ready to go out just firing, but they don't find him. And then he's just like, later, dudes, and he's got cameras everywhere. He's watching all this stuff.
Right.
And then those guys go, and he's just by himself in this town that's been evacuated. And it's a cute little quaint town, real small town on Main Street.
Yep.
And he just grabs his truck and his boat, and he goes to Home Depot, and he goes to the gas company, and he just loads up on
but like nobody else
everything.
had gone to Home Depot and tried to steal everything.
Yeah.
And that's also you in my head going, this doesn't make any sense. People would have already looted that store.
Yeah. It was a small town. I mean,
but they had a Home Depot. It wasn't like it was an Ace Hardware. It was.
Yeah. The other thing was that all the soldiers came in, and they're going through his house, and he's got this big wine collection. I'm like, none of those dudes are going to grab a bottle of wine.
No. He had a wine collection that lasted for a while.
Well, he stopped by the store, which also didn't get looted.
Never.
So I don't know. I just let that one go, but I do believe it happened so fast that there may just not have been time.
Yeah.
But
I'll go with that.
Maybe not. But he sets his compound up.
Basically around the town, right? Not all of it. But.
Yeah, not all of it, but his little neighborhood had fencing and barbed wire and booby traps and cameras everywhere.
Electric fences.
Electric fences.
Which is my favorite part.
Yeah.
What was he powering that with?
Well, he had a huge generator.
Uh-huh. And gas goes bad.
No, but he went to the gas company and he got natural gas. He got huge amounts of natural gas.
Okay. There's other problems that I have.
All right.
We'll get there.
So the prepper stuff, I probably don't know the technical stuff, so I just went with it. But
I don't know if natural gas goes bad, but gasoline for sure goes bad.
Well, it does because in the show, all the cars drive on batteries. They're all retrofit with batteries because there's no gasoline.
Right.
So they make a point of him like getting a lifetime supply of natural gas.
I think he burned through it, but okay.
Yeah. Either that or he may have actually, I don't know, he went into the gas factory, whatever that's called.
Wow.
But he could have just run the gas line from their stores, and he's the only person who has gas.
And he's super handy.
Oh, he's very good at what he does. So anyway, he's got this big generator, and I guess it's going to last forever, one way or another.
That's probably a better way to have the story go than all of a sudden we're out like that. Yeah. It wasn't. That's not really important to the storyline.
Yeah, because the idea was he was so good at this, he's thought of it all through, and he's just dialed it in. He's not going to all of a sudden go, "Oh, I forgot we don't have power." He's like, I think he did have some solar panels too. I think they showed him with some solar panels, but whatever. He's got a garden. He's got some veggies, and he's got some chickens.
Killing rabbits,
and he's got some bigger animal too that he was. What was that hanging in his locker? He had like a meat locker.
It looked like a pig to me.
Pig, maybe, yeah. So he's got some animals, and he's also, turns out, a gourmet chef type of guy and a wine snob. He's got lots of good wine, and
There's actually a few really, like, if I am a wine snob.
Yeah.
And
they were good wines.
One of them was like a Camus, and I want to say that the labels matched when it came from and for when it was supposed to be. They were legit.
I think the writing of it was terrific, and I think the acting was terrific. I really do. I
I thought the scenes and the sets were really good. Like that's for one episode
Yeah,
to
they
do
did
some
a
of the
lot.
stuff they did. That was really cool.
Yeah. They so he's there, and he is just unlike most of us. We're like, I got it all dialed in, but I'm by myself. He's really happy.
He is thrilled.
Yeah, he's just there,
I don't
and
need
he likes
anybody.
he likes watching the video when one of the zombies falls into one of his booby traps. And he goes,
I like
and
the
he watches
booty
it.
trap. I'm not
Booty trap. It does become a booty trap, doesn't
become
it?
a booty trap. Fantastic.
So he's watching the zombie get caught, zapped by his booby trap, and he's eating his dinner while he's watching it, and he just says, "Doesn't get old." Yeah. But the thing is, it's 4 years later, and you do get the feeling it's getting a little bit old.
Right.
Like, I mean,
we're not going to go through an hour of this, of just watching him by himself.
No.
Right?
No. Something is happening, and then his alarm goes off. Somebody's caught in this pit that he has, and he goes and he finds a very handsome man.
Yeah.
Who's in there and who seems like a nice guy, who's
probably in his 50s.
Yeah. I did wonder about how much he aged in 20 years. 20 years is how long the episode goes in chronologically from the outbreak to 20 years later. And he seemed they were trying to suggest that he was kind of elderly. Like he couldn't walk very well. And he seemed like he was a good hearty 44 or something when he started. And so I didn't see him as a 64-year-old.
No.
I saw him as pushing 80 at least. And but whatever. That's a level of nitpick I'm not really that interested in.
Yeah.
They needed him to be old.
He's old. Now the next time I see something like this, I'm going to be like, they really like 80 years old? That doesn't make any sense. Thanks.
But it's fine. It's fine. It's just, does the show win me over enough to where I'm going to forgive it? But if it annoys me a little bit and then it starts having little flaws, then I start picking at him, But anyway, he finds the guy, and it's almost that like it all. What's the Casablanca? Do you know the movie Casablanca? Of all the gin joints in
all the world,
you come like
you had to walk
all the
people.
So when were you tricked? I guess by the twist. I guess
by the interloper
that he was gay. When did you realize he was gay? When they started making out, or was it okay? Me too.
Yeah,
but it also made sense. Like, oh,
yeah. So tell me about the girl. There is no girl.
But even before that, when he's serving him the dinner, and he kind of like turns the plate to where the meat is facing him just in the right way,
that's
and he pours, and he goes, a man who knows that Beaujolais goes with rabbit, and he goes, I know I don't look like the type, and he looks at him and goes, yeah, you do. And
that's the tip off.
That was the gaydar, man. He was like, you're the closeted.
Well, so he catches the gay guy in the trap.
Yeah,
basically the booty trap.
Yeah, and they're the same age-ish, and the guy is desperate and hungry and
handsome.
What's that?
And handsome.
Very handsome.
But
and
Bill doesn't like Frank right away.
Bill's
like, you're getting out of here.
No. Yeah. He's like, go. I'm letting you go. And he goes, hey, I'm starving. He goes, hey, if I let you eat, then you're going to go and tell every bum from here to Seattle.
Incidentally, he sort of did. But we'll get to that.
Yeah. And he just goes, hey, I promise I won't. He goes, and then he looks at him. He goes, I'm a bad liar. And so he's like, all right, I'll feed you. And he makes a really nice dish. And finally, all of this, and here's what the show is about, I think, and why I kind of interested in it as something more than just entertainment. It's got ideas. And I think the big idea that it has is that there are certain kind of people like Bill, who are more talented than most other people,
Yeah.
who can use that talent to create, let's call it excess wealth or excess resources.
Sure.
What is the purpose of a person like that? To hoard all the resources to themselves and just kind of be a dragon on a mound of wealth? No, it's to take care of other people.
Yeah.
And there's kind of this, I don't know. I won't go any farther with that.
He had
than
room
that.
in his heart for one other person.
Yeah,
no, he didn't
was-
want anybody else.
He was not going to be a do-gooder for the
No.
world, but all of that talent was being wasted on just himself. You know what I mean? And that he, like making have I done this? I don't do it often, but I'm sure I have made like a really good meal just for myself.
Oh, yeah.
And it's kind of fun to do,
Oh, it's great.
but if you really nail it, you're like,
Nobody else was here.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so this guy just has more to offer. And then he finds this guy who is, pretty pure of heart, and he's needy. Like Frank is really needy.
Yeah.
And he needs to be protected because he can't take care of himself
vulnerable.
in this. He is vulnerable.
We don't even know where he came from. We don't know his backstory.
He said where he came from she was heading to Boston,
Okay.
and he came from some town.
I just keep thinking season 2 is going to be Frank's backstory at some point, right? Like there's going to be an episode.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know.
We should say
Hey.
the title of the episode, by the way. It
Yeah.
is Long, Long Time.
Long time. And my God, that song is amazing. I listened to it. It's a Linda Ronstadt song. And that's why it's called that.
Oh,
Because so he plays it on the piano. There's a piano, and then
that's beautifully tuned. I'm going
Frank-
to add for having been sat around for I don't know how long.
Frank starts playing. He asks if he can play it, and he finds the Linda Ronstadt, and he just happens to find Bill's favorite song,
Right.
and it's a sentimental song. And it's
Frank's gaydar going.
I'm
'cause
gonna
he
love
knows.
you for a long, long time, and then Bill he plays it in a kind of Johnny Cash sort of voice.
Yeah.
And it's very touching. And then Frank says, "Who's the girl?"
And he says,
And he goes, "There's no girl." The pain so Bill is this is why I think the acting is so good.
It was so good.
Bill is so tough and invulnerable,
Yes.
but when Frank gets to him,
There was
he
no
gets
girl.
really weepy.
There was
And
no girl.
yeah.
And he was almost in tears.
Yeah.
Oh, it was good.
And just the way he stands,
Yeah.
like he is a gun-toting badass who you do not want,
yeah.
to be on his bad side. But when he's around Frank, he kind of gets really awkward. I just think it was just, this is the second time I've watched the episode, and I was watching him kind of carefully, his body language, and I'm like, wow, it's so good. And then they get together, and he's just one of those guys, never been with a guy and had one experience with a girl that must have been not very fun.
Not great.
For
Yeah.
either one of them.
Yeah.
And by the way, what did one lesbian say to the other?
I don't know.
Can I be frank with you?
No.
That one goes out to all the lesbians in our listening.
Oh,
our
the ones
audience.
that
Yep.
used to be in our listening audience. That was, wow.
I know at least
Can I
one
be
that'll
frank with you.
stick around. It's an oldie, but a goodie.
Life's an art.
It's, and I do get that does misunderstand the. It's kind of a stereotype with same-sex couples that one is the husband and one is the wife, but in this case, it 100% conforms to that.
I would agree.
Bill is the
Bill's
husband,
he's definitely the
and Frank is the wife, and
Right.
Frank just. I love how that dynamic plays. So anyway, they get together.
There was a shirtless makeout scene, and this is where I'm going to go, okay.
You weren't able to.
I was like, all right.
I was watching it with my son too. I was like, I'm just like,
But I'm weird. Okay, I'm weird about anybody making out.
These
like
both
when I'm
guys were
watching-
very hairy-chested.
That
Was the
was
part
the part that was really weird.
well.
Oh, God.
And even Frank was like kissing down the body toward.
Oh yeah.
And down the really hairy chest, and I was just like, too much hair on those bodies, man. I'm sorry.
I thought the same thing. I was like, okay, and I finally was like, okay, I'm
All our gay listeners out there, I know that you have a
Yep.
different opinion
Yeah,
of it,
well,
and
maybe you
I'm
don't.
sure
Maybe you don't like your guy's hairy. I
yeah,
don't know.
maybe the hairy guy wants the smooth guy.
Just because it's the
And the
middle of a
smooth-
fungal pandemic doesn't mean you can't fucking shave your chest.
Shave
right?
your chest. Where's
Yeah.
the waxer?
Oh,
They
Oh,
probably
God.
could have
Ow.
had a waxing kind of boutique, and they have the boutique in that little town they've made.
yeah.
By the way, I don't think I've told this story before.
Finally
me-
done with your first beer
let
that
me
you started
pop a beer.
before I got here.
So I did. That's because I set up all the
All it's-
equipment
you did.
by myself.
I told you I was going to be late. Were you already here? Oh,
I know.
God.
I enjoyed it. I got a beer and then just kind of slowly set up without that, like, we got to set up right
yeah,
now.
we got to get this done.
And so
Our fans demand this.
I enjoyed the setting up experience and sipping a beer. But here's my little story.
okay.
This is the one. The kind of like headline of this story is: this was the time that I realized what women go through all the effing time.
Wow.
So
I like
I'm
that
in-
there's-
I'm in Atlanta.
There's no tables with children, so you can't say
I'm-
all the fucking time.
I know, but I'm a, I care about our listening audience's innocence,
oh.
and so
After describing the hairy-chested, chest-to-chest makeout scene, more.
but it's not a bad word.
Oh,
Okay,
sorry.
so I had just moved to Atlanta, and I got invited from somebody I didn't know very well, but I just knew from school a little bit for grad school, to go to a rave. Never really been to a. I mean,
I don't see you as a rave guy.
I wasn't a rave guy. I knew
Right.
what they were. I had been to them before, and this one was like jungle music,
Ooh.
whatever that is.
I don't know what jungle.
It's just a kind of like
taking notes for later.
yeah.
Excuse me.
Jungle music was a type of electronic dance music kind of world, whatever.
I'm gonna ask.
So I
Siri
went
to play it
to
later.
a rave with this new friend of mine, acquaintance, and it was fine, whatever. I'm in this like big warehouse.
What, it was
and
in a warehouse.
oh yeah, and
That's so cool.
but I could only take that for so long, so I kind of stepped outside. I was smoking in those days, but yeah, I
Yeah.
was smoking. I stepped out for a smoke. There's this like
Everyone was
cool
smoking
little
in those
dive
days.
bar right across the way, right across the parking lot. It's called the Eagle.
Ooh.
I know that because I told this story to my Atlanta friend recently, and he knew the place.
Is it still there?
Yeah, it still is. It's well known. Infamous, you might even say.
I would.
So it's a kind of just a cool looking dive bar. And I'm like, oh man, you know what? I'm going to go grab myself a bottle of Bud or something like that.
Yeah, you're no stranger to a good dive bar.
And I'm just going to kind of kill some time and then go back to the rave. And then maybe my friend will be closer to ready to go.
yeah.
And I walked in, and from the time that I walked through the door, and I'm 30 years old and not a terrible looking guy, if I do say so myself, back in those days.
Nice.
Walked in the door and just immediately felt an undue amount of attention.
Uh-oh.
Just everybody.
Record
Just,
scratch.
yeah, stopped and looked, and I'm walking across. My butt cheeks are just, my sphincter is tightening as I
Uh-oh.
walk, and I'm walking awkwardly because I'm so stiff. And I realize by the time I get to the bar that this is a gay bar, but a gay middle-aged man bar.
Dive bar.
And gay dive bar, middle-aged man dive bar, and I'm the youngest guy there. And these guys are horny, and they
Oh.
are just staring at me. And I'm
Perfect.
like as if a young woman walked into a straight dive bar with a bunch of middle-aged men, kind
Yeah.
of, you know,
Oh,
except
yeah.
even worse. And
Because
they're-
it's filled with guys that, yeah.
yeah, because they know that there's no restraining kind of.
Right.
And I ordered a beer because to just turn around and walk out would have been worse somehow than.
You can't walk into a bar and not order a beer.
Yeah.
Like, once you're there, that's it.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the end of the story. Really, is
Oh.
I
Did you
had
get
my
hit on?
beer. Yeah, somebody started talking to me, but it was kind of clear that that I wasn't
place,
gonna.
wrong time.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
he kind of got the
Okay.
idea, and then after a while, the people were like, whatever, that
Yeah.
guy's not gonna be my not my ticket for the after hours entertainment. So
There was a gay bar in Iowa City, Alley Cat.
I'm sure
Maybe
it's gotta
it's
be
still
still
there.
there,
I
probably.
don't know. No,
Alley?
it was
Alley Cat.
Cat. I actually knew who owned it. Incidentally, they were not gay, but it was a teeny tiny bar, and the only way to get people to go was, hey, you know what? You know what we're going to do? We're going to change it from this bar name to we're going to call it the Alley Cat, and now it's the gay bar.
So, oh,
So I went before with Anna.
okay.
So, and it was one of those like nobody even looked at me twice because it was
Yeah.
like, okay, yeah, whatever. Like,
Yeah. Oh, because you had a
well,
wife with
I,
you.
I think
Or
even
a
if I went
girlfriend.
in, I think it's like at some point it's obvious.
Yeah.
So anyway, it happens.
So you're trying to say something about me that wasn't obvious?
Well,
I've had other experiences too. Like I'm just remembering now. So two of my favorite places that I've lived, two are Laguna Beach in San Francisco. They're both kind of gay meccas,
Laguna Beaches.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
very much. It's been known as a gay kind of. I don't know about now. It's just money now, but
Yeah.
but it definitely had a strong kind of pro-gay kind of. It's like the mayor was a gay Republican back in the days where there was a lot of gay Republicans, that kind of thing. But or maybe not a lot, but that was a genre.
Are you saying Clint Eastwood's a gay Republican?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, just
Come
come on this show and defend yourself.
Yeah, you coward. I don't want any preppers coming on
No.
the show and defending themselves because what
Because
we
I
know
know
about
one.
this is they're not cowards.
No.
No, all that
They're killers.
gay sexual pent up energy,
They
like
have
you
to
don't want them unleashing
No.
it on that on this podcast or
No.
anywhere else.
On
So,
anyone.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
So at any rate, my Laguna thing. I was just. How did it happen? I was waiting tables and just hanging out with the waiter crowd, and we ended up at the gay bar, and then went to an after party at the gay bar, and we got kind of asked to leave politely because all the guys were shirtless and looked like they were in, I don't know,
yeah.
like a perfume ad or
Yeah,
a cologne ad.
Right.
They were all like gorgeously perfect, and one of the guys with us was gay, but he was like a gay surfer dude with long hair. Jeff, good old Jeff. And I think that's his name. If your name is Jeff and you're a blonde surfer dude from California and you're not gay, then I'm not talking about you. But
That's good clarification.
but it was kind of like these guys said, excuse me, the person that rented this room is just wanted me to ask you to he said it in just the nicest way possible.
Can you please
like,
finish your drinks and
or this is
vacate.
this is actually a private party, and
Yeah.
but it was firm but not mean, and I enjoyed getting kicked out of that party in that way. Like it was
nice.
didn't feel bad about it. Just like,
nice.
okay, yeah, I get it. I looked around. I'm like, yep, I don't look like you guys, and you have a thing going here. So
Right.
let's move
Yeah.
on. So
Well,
back to the.
So go back to the plot.
Yeah, I guess so.
So we fast forward 20 years. We're not fast forwarding here. Literally, that's what happens. It's like 20 years later.
It does it in chunks, though. So the first thing,
It's 4 years first.
4 years, and they're having a marital spat.
Yes. Okay.
And it is a marital spat that just seemed very familiar to me. Not the specifics, but just the dynamic.
Oh, yeah.
And he wants certain
Bill.
things.
Bill.
Bill doesn't want anything to change, and Frank wants to fix some stuff up.
Right.
And
he's got to fix up the boutique
yeah,
and the wine shop.
and he goes, "Why?"
Yeah. It's
And
only
he goes,
us.
our house is fine. He goes, no, I want our neighborhood to look nice.
Yeah.
Like, not just our house. And then he goes,
We don't
what?
have any
He goes,
neighbors.
no, but yeah. And he goes, well, we will. And he goes, what do you mean? He goes, we can make friends. He's like, we don't have any friends.
We can't do that.
He goes, what about the lady on the radio? And he goes, she is not coming here. He goes, yes, she is. And then they immediately clip, and they're having a dinner, like a lunch party.
They kind of storm off in either direction, and then bang. But the lunch party's outside.
Yeah.
Because you can't take them in.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's just this perfect, like...
And it's Joel from...
Yeah, it's Joel.
The main,
And his lady.
His wife,
Tess.
who is dead.
Yeah.
You know, no
we know
spoiler
she's
there.
dead by then, but she's resurrected for the scene. And but what I thought was funny is that just Frank gets his way. Like, you know,
Frank does get his way.
Yep.
The wife always does.
Yes.
See, that's why you're saying he was the wife.
And what Bill was reduced to was just kind of sulking, and he's standing there with a gun. But of course, Joel gets him.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Hey, man, I don't want to be here either." But
yeah,
you know,
can you take that gun out of my face?
Yeah. And they kind of respect each other, but don't like each other.
Yeah,
I guess, I don't know. And
it was
then
a good scene. I thought that was a good scene. And then he's
a little bit of humor, but
Frank wants to take her inside.
Yeah.
And Bill's like,
No.
Absolutely not in the house.
And they just go inside.
They go right inside. Yeah, I was like, that's also like me at home. There is no way we're doing that. Next thing you know, that's exactly what we're doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just happening. And
allegedly.
Yeah. So that's how it connects with the greater story.
Yeah.
And then I think really good writing. Let me see if I can think of some of these lines I liked. Oh yeah, he at one point Frank has a present for Bill, and he's planted strawberries.
Oh yeah.
And he goes, where'd you get these? He goes, oh, I traded one of your guns for... He goes, one of my guns? Which one? And he goes, what are the little ones? Like,
yeah, one of the little ones. He's like, oh,
but he also has like 50 guns.
Right.
Like, I mean, it's just so many. And I just thought that was really funny.
The prepper that I know is also well armed.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure they all are. I don't think you can be a prepper and not be well armed. Oh, I love the line about when they're arguing about, he says something about the government's the Nazis or something like that. He goes,
but the government are the Nazis.
No, but he goes, you think the government's the Nazis or something. He goes, the government are Nazis.
Are Nazis. He's like, but they weren't then.
Yeah.
Frank says they weren't then.
Yeah, it was great.
It was a great line.
Yeah, it's a great little argument. And that's the annoying thing if you get an argument with a prepper, and then, but the prepper thing came true.
But the prepper's right.
Yeah, you're going to lose. You already lost that argument.
Lost. Yeah. But they weren't then.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Oh, it was 9/11, I think is what he was. I think he was like a 9/11
You thought
truth.
9/11 was an inside job?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. It was a good fight.
So the episode's really leading us to think that Bill is fading. They're running, and Bill can't keep up, and he says, "I'm sorry.
they're out.
I'm getting old faster than you. I can't keep up." And he goes, "Oh, you're fine."
Right.
And then they also set it up that there are these raiders around,
right?
Because Joel kind of goes, "Hey, your setup here is the government's not gonna come around, and this and this."
Are coming.
He goes, "But the raiders are going to come here and they'll get through this fence." And he's like,
"No, they won't.
We'll be all right."
Yeah.
And so the raiders do come, and it's a big firefight. This is one point maybe we could kind of question the plot a little.
This was pointless.
Why did Bill go out there and start shooting those guys and make himself absolutely vulnerable when his traps...
They were getting smoked by everything on there was flamethrowers that were set up and guns that were shooting them. And
he did not need to do that, but he came out and he's shooting them. And then Frank is terrified and he runs out. He's got a little gun. And
a little gun.
It is.
It's just a little gun.
It's a little pistol, and he doesn't shoot it. And he's like, "Bill, what's going to come out of here?" And then Bill turns around and gets shot in the side.
Right.
And then Frank kind of like helps drag him back in.
Truth be told, I paused it at this point.
Yeah.
So I'm like, dang. Is this how Bill dies?
Oh, I
And
was watching it with my son, and he was like, "Oh, he's gonna die, isn't he?"
Me too.
And he was just like,
They got me.
he's like, and
I paused it. And I was like, oh, there's 20 minutes left. Never mind.
yeah. That's they call it. Oliver calls it protagonist armor, or main character armor. Like,
I like that. I like that.
Yeah. But then here's, I think, an important part. Bill thinks he's going to die. He's telling Frank where the secret stuff is, and I have all the instructions for you, and this is how you.
Right.
And he goes, call Joel.
Here's my bank account number.
Yeah. He goes, call Joel. He'll take care of you. Mm-hmm. He'll protect you, or something like that. You can't stay here by yourself.
Right, because he couldn't, because he's the wife.
Yeah. And
we're getting canceled in so many different ways.
But Frank is just like, yeah, sure. He's not listening to him at all. He's just like seeing to this wound. The next scene we see, we jump again 4 more years or something, or is it 10 years? I think it's 10 years. Yeah. It may have been a 10-year gap, and then they're older. They're old.
Yeah, there's liver spots involved.
Yeah, and there's kind of shuffling. And then what's his name?
Frank doesn't look so hot.
Frank is in a wheelchair, and Bill is looking pretty good. I mean, for an old guy.
For the guy that was aging faster than Frank.
And then you realize, it's like ALS, MS. He's just sick, and it's one of those things. And the last part of it is, I think it's another just great storytelling, visual storytelling, and they kind of pretty efficiently show that Frank's getting sick of this shit.
Yeah.
Like, he can't paint he's into painting.
The soup, and
his hands aren't working that well, and he's just, I think just really good acting, but you could just tell.
I believed it.
He's just thinking, nah.
I'm out.
Yeah. And he's just trying to wait for it.
Yeah.
And then Bill is also, there's this great scene where Bill walks up to him and he's watering flowers and stuff. And they're just like an old couple at this point, and they're just kind of living their lives. And Bill kind of walks up and he sees Frank, who's trying to paint, and Frank's kind of upset, just frustrated.
Yeah.
And then Bill just like winks at him in this way that it just was such a perfect.
You felt like he was winking at you.
Yeah. No, it was the kind of thing that a couple that had been together for a really long time would do when he knows that Frank is upset, and he's also kind of worried and upset.
Yeah.
But he just tries to make it seem like it's okay. Anyway, it was just a really good, quiet moment. And then finally we get to the big, the kind of crisis, the final movement of the episode, and Frank just kind of lays it on him. He goes, "Hey, today's my last day. Like,
this is it."
Yeah. And Bill's like, "What do you mean?"
Bill's like, "Wait."
He goes, "No,
today?
I want out. I want out."
Yeah.
And he talks him into it. Like, "Come on, man. Like, this is
no way to live."
Yeah. It's getting worse. And Bill is like, "Well, maybe a doctor will." Yeah, right.
Yeah, Dr. Kevorkian, maybe.
Yeah. That was a good one, man.
Nice.
Hey, we got a good old Doc K.
Did he off himself eventually, or no?
I don't think he's around. I mean, I don't know. And then so he decides to kill himself, and then he goes, "I want one more good day. I want you to take me to the boutique. I want to pick out some clothes. I want you to wear what I tell you to wear.
Yeah.
And let's get married and have a really nice dinner. And then I want you to give me some medicine and
sleeping pills and wine.
And then I'm
crush up all of
and
these.
then take me to bed one last time. And that's what I want."
I was thinking we were getting another makeout scene. We didn't.
It probably, I would think you wouldn't be in the mood.
Well,
I believe that.
I would imagine. I thought that that this was where the whole thing really shined. I thought they were fantastic in the scene.
I thought it was really touching, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like
I
kind
really
of.
thought it was good.
Yeah, I was pretty choked up by it but also kind of happy. And then it gets really great. They have the great meal. I think he has rabbit again.
He does have rabbit. Yeah.
And that wine looked pretty good. That second wine he brought to put the meds in.
Well, did you notice?
I didn't know what it was, but it looked good. I'm like, I bet you that's a nice bottle of wine.
I don't know because I didn't see. I've only spotted one or two labels, and the Camus is the one that's on the top of my head, and that wasn't it. But when he brought the wine out, there was something about it. I guess we'll get there. So he crushes up a bunch of sleeping pills. He puts it into Bill's glass. He hands it to him.
Yeah.
Bill in Frank's glass. Frank downs it. Bill takes his, pours it out of the bottle, and chugs it.
Yeah.
And he's like, so there was already sleeping pills in the wine.
Yeah.
And he goes, enough to kill a horse.
Yeah.
And when he brings the wine out, I look for stuff like this. And I remember looking at the bottle of wine and going, oh, right. He kills himself with Frank.
Yeah.
Because the wine's already open, but the detail is there.
Yeah.
Right, which was really cool.
Which is funny because he always usually opens the bottle of wine at the table.
He does.
And this one, it comes open. Oh, nice one, Jones.
It was really subtle.
Yeah.
It was cool that they did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I'm not okay with this. And he goes, listen, I'm old and satisfied.
Yep.
And then he just said that you're my purpose. Like taking care of you was,
It's like a Cat Stevens song, by the way. Look at me. I'm old, but I'm happy.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
And you did believe it. And they also realized that it was over.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of got to the end. And they Kevorkian'd out. And it's... and then I don't know
Eventually
where
Joel and Ellie show up.
Yeah. So it's how many days later? Just a few days later, really. Because
that
the food is still on the food is rotten, but it's not dust.
Right.
And so, they show up.
So Joel being the protagonist for the series, and Ellie, the girl who's kind of driving the whole thing.
Yeah, he's taking care of her.
And they show up, and there's a letter, and this is the part where I was like, okay, and they have to drive the series, right? And that's why this is where it stops being a standalone.
Yeah. Well, they get to. That's a pretty good score, though. They get the truck. They get as many guns.
What
as
kind of truck was it?
Chevy S10.
It was a Chevy S10.
Yeah.
Now,
he said it was a piece of shit.
He said it was a piece of shit, and you know what? That was, considering that vintage Chevy S10 is 99.9% are red piles of dust in various places around the world. That one was in really good shape. It was also a very rare four-door version of that truck. The very few of those were made. It was only the last few years.
There we go.
And it was... It just was. It was good. It was a nice little addition. They had to get them out of there. They had to get them wheels.
Yeah.
But that is a problem for me because it's been 25 years since gasoline was made.
Yeah.
And that car didn't run on batteries.
Oh no, he did.
No, he had to make a battery.
Yeah.
To start the truck, but he started it with the key.
Yeah.
And it started the engine, and I'm like, okay, that's where you lose me.
So, but how do you retrofit automobiles into battery?
Is that what they were doing? Is that what like the government vehicles or the...
because that's what the big plot was, is that he needed to get a battery to run a truck. And
it's doable.
And he had all this, and he had batteries in the refrigerator.
Well, he had stuff to make a battery.
Yeah.
You can retrofit a car. So now you're in, welcome to my world. There are, I have seen... like MGs and various other vehicles that people have retrofitted with like golf cart batteries, and you put a bunch of them together. You've got like car batteries, and I saw a Fiat over near where I live. Somebody did a Fiat, and they took the engine out and replaced it with that. You can get Tesla batteries and motors to put in stuff. So it is something that people are doing now, despite me. Oh,
I mean, I still have some left. So.
all right,
Yeah.
getting after it.
Well, you just
Yeah,
it's Christmas, man.
it is. So,
Tell us more about batteries, Steve.
yeah, but
Yeah.
so he was running the truck on the engine, though.
Yeah, okay. I don't know.
For me, I was like, no.
Yeah, it sounds like they didn't quite do it right, but they did acknowledge that there's no gasoline.
Did they?
Yeah, I mean,
Not when they took the truck and they're planning on driving across the country.
Yeah, I think so. I think that the whole idea is that batteries are the only way you can power vehicles now.
Oh, not on that one. They were running the engine.
Yeah.
The 4.3 liter V6.
But wait, why did they have to wait for the battery to charge for hours then?
Because he made the battery. He was putting the sulfuric acid in the thing, and then it had to charge, and then they could leave.
Yeah, I know.
But to start the truck, because it didn't have a battery. Otherwise, it wouldn't start.
Oh, I don't. Okay, maybe I'm misunderstanding then.
Yeah, no, it was like he pops the hood, and there's no battery, like, to start it.
Oh,
and
okay.
he's like, I'm thinking, well, it's going to be a 25-year-old battery anyway. What good is that going to do?
Yeah.
And then he opens the refrigerator, and it's like, oh, look,
Yeah.
there's all this stuff, and he's got it labeled.
Yeah.
And then he makes a battery, and he's got to charge it, and then he
Okay.
puts it in the truck, and he starts the truck.
Okay. Well, that doesn't make sense.
I know.
We should. I feel like Googling that later.
We
and
should
just
pause here and watch it again, and then we'll
No,
come
no.
back. No?
No, but I do want to kind of look. Like, there's got to be some forum where somebody complains about that. You know, for The Last of Us.
Yeah, me. I might have when I vaguely watched it the last time.
And you posted on your
Yeah.
car website.
I did.
Where you,
like, who allowed this?
Yeah.
This shouldn't be.
They didn't. They should have asked you.
Yeah. Well,
all right. Let's not end on that.
no. I got
Let's,
questions. I got
Okay,
questions.
let's hear the questions.
This had me thinking of, like, people who had prepped for Y2K.
Yeah.
And did you know anybody
Y2K.
that was a Y2K
okay,
prepper?
so that was Y2K. I don't know what age
You know when
I
that was?
and yeah,
Would have been 1999.
it would have been. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that Prince was big at
yeah.
that moment,
Yeah.
and
Was Prince big then?
Tonight You're Gonna Party like
Well,
it's 1999.
I mean, but I think that came out like 15 years earlier.
yeah, but no, he was big.
All right.
Yeah, very much. So. Well,
Never really
I mean,
been
they
into
played
Prince.
it. They played it constantly in 1999.
Oh my God,
Like,
they did. It was terrible.
So, what else? I don't know. I didn't know any preppers for that.
I remember that's the first time I ever heard of such a thing, where I worked at a summer camp that summer, and there's at least one kid. Man, he was weird, and his parents were super weird, and they were stockpiling water, like, more than anything, just drinking water, because somehow when the millennium rolled over, it was going to affect the drinking water because of Y2K, which I just sort of chuckle at. I don't know. So there was that. I got a good one. You know any love in the time of a pandemic story? I got one for you.
Love in the Time of Cholera, you mean?
Well, no, I'm saying a pandemic.
Love during the pandemic. Oh, you mean like real stories where people...
Like where it's like this, and it's like, oh, we meet, oh, and that's it. I got one. I know somebody.
Okay. Yeah, I know somebody who started dating somebody right before the pandemic, and then they were just like holed up together.
Did they get married after like 2 weeks of being together?
Yeah.
Okay, I know.
I mean, not after 2 weeks, but they did. Yeah.
2 weeks.
Okay.
And I'm not going to say the person's last name or first name, but it would be like if you, during the pandemic, were not with your lovely wife, that you... No. Well, they had... The wife ended up with the same first and last name. Or like it's Kelly
Yeah.
Kelly.
Oh, okay. But she that would have been a good time to not take the last name.
She did.
Yeah, she just wanted to do it.
Well,
Humbert.
and then 2 years later, that was over.
Yeah.
Post pandemic, it was like, oh, we can go out and see other people. Well,
Yeah.
you're not it then.
Yeah. You're
Yeah.
all of a sudden there's more options.
Right,
And yeah.
right. And-
Sad.
But I think there's maybe some that worked out. I
Nah,
mean,
I doubt
Frank
it.
and Bill.
I think 0.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that there's a difference between a mushroom apocalypse and COVID-19.
Yeah, the mushroom apocalypse sounds a lot worse.
Yeah, but I think that draws people together.
Different kind of mushroom apocalypse than would be amazing.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Yeah, I think it would be.
tripping out.
What if? Yeah, I guess you can't eat the mushrooms. What if you sautéed them, though? It seems like it would
No.
kill the.
I know.
Whatever.
And they grow inside of you somehow without light or, well,
Yeah.
mushrooms don't need light. But you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't
Mushrooms.
know. I mean, I think I read somewhere that there is a fungus that infects animals and takes over
Oh,
their
sure.
brains and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so there is some kind of, plausible, or at least.
It doesn't make for good video gaming to, like show the fungus that doesn't look like a mushroom underneath somebody's skin.
Yeah.
Which is what they showed in this.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of gross looking.
It was
I
gross.
remember in some of the later episodes, there's like the bigger mushroom monster breaks out because you get sick of seeing just the zombies, and that's when I
Oh.
started losing interest in the. I'm like, oh, come on,
The game was getting harder.
yeah,
basically.
that's right.
Yeah.
Which I didn't think about it that way. I didn't, but that makes a lot of sense.
That's
there
why
just
video
has to-
games into series and
Yeah,
movies
they just-
sucks.
Yeah, it just
Oh.
has to be levels, and there's bigger bosses, and et cetera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With that,
So-
I don't have anything else.
Yeah, my only final thing was that Linda Ronstadt song, I'm
That
Gonna
song
Love You for a
sucks.
long, long
I
time.
don't like Linda Ronstadt, though.
Oh, I do.
Come on this show and defend yourself.
Yeah,
Linda
right.
Ronstadt,
You're-
you
she-
coward.
She's pretty old, but oh, man.
I'm still going to call her a coward.
She, I saw her on this show called Saturday Night Special or something like that. It was this live music show on Saturday night. I'm getting the name a little bit wrong, I think. And a friend of mine had the whole catalog on VCR, and
Nice.
we listened to this really young Linda Ronstadt before it was all these people who, like right before they got crazy famous, they would do these live concerts, and she just belted it out. But after watching the whole thing, and they play the song on the
They
cassette,
do at the end, yeah.
and it's a song about loss. It's just one of those sad
I got
songs.
a problem with that part.
Yeah,
She knows how a tape deck works.
yeah. How would she?
How, like...
She knew something about video games, like that there was a arcade game
Oh,
because
I've
she'd
always
heard
wanted
about
to play
it.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nah, I'm not buying it. She doesn't know how to tape. My kids don't know how tape work. How
Yeah.
a tape works. I
How would
work
you-
with 20-year-olds that are like, what's
Yeah.
like the 3.5-inch floppy? They're like, what is that? Because
Yeah.
I have a. Like
They're
a-
not floppy, and that's the great
Right.
part about it.
I know.
Yeah.
It's great. But they don't. I've got a like framed art on my office
Yeah.
wall behind my camera. It's like a patent drawing of a 3.5-inch floppy.
Yeah.
And I will ask. I'll go, do you know what that is? Is it a tape? I'm like, no, it's not an 8-track. No, I'm not that old. But yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So anyway,
Or it doesn't make sense.
No.
But yeah, all
But-
right. But anyway, I thought the songs. I want to listen to it again. If we had the license to it, I would just do it as the outro. But
I didn't
Or-
love the song.
Steve,
I know.
your taste in music is just horseshit, man. It is like you like everything that is the cheesiest ever,
Like
and
what?
you hate everything. You like Sammy Hagar more than David Lee Roth.
No, I don't like either one of them.
Cheesy, yeah.
I don't
but
like either one. I don't like
you know,
Van Halen or Van Hagar.
you're just a hater, man. You don't.
I am.
Yeah. What do you
Rolling
like?
Stones.
You don't like Prince. Like
No. Stones.
who doesn't like Prince? Okay. Like I guess you like
Guns
the
N'
Beatles
Roses?
too, right?
No, I don't like the Beatles.
Really?
No, not at all, actually.
Really?
I just
So
got canceled again. No,
you
not,
don't
not a
like
Beatles
the
fan.
Beatles.
Nope.
You don't like Prince. You don't like.
And the Beatles are fine, but like,
Yeah.
give me the Stones. Yes.
You like the Stones
Pink Floyd.
better?
Big Pink Floyd. Yeah.
Okay. So you just have a kind of a few bands you like, and most of them you don't. Something
Bob
like
Seger
that.
and the Silver Bullet Band.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Bob Seger.
You don't like Bob Seger?
I dislike Bob Seger for one reason. His big hit.
Against the Wind.
No,
Oh.
it's the Here I Am playing star again.
Oh, yeah.
Here I am.
But maybe that's the Metallica cover that you
up
don't like.
on the stage. There
Here
I go.
We're singing.
Star again. This is a song where he is in full whining,
He's like,
self-pity
fuck all
mode.
of you.
No,
that
it's
are
more.
here.
No,
Oh.
it's poor me. I have to go and tour around and be a rock star, and sometimes people tease me because I have long hair. Like
think
it is
there's
so pathetic.
Yeah, I think there's more to the story because he was known as somebody who didn't make it for a really long time, and
Yeah.
he just was grinding it out.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I invite him to come on this
Yeah.
podcast and defend himself.
Oh yeah, I could take him. He's probably like 80 now. So
I don't know. I think he's pretty tough.
yeah, he might be packing.
Yep.
Might be packing heat.
He could be. Maybe he's a prepper.
Yeah. Prepping when you're 80 seems like it's I
I have heard he is a really good show live.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Okay, I like U2.
Oh my God, it gets worse and worse.
You don't like U2?
No, I
Old
don't.
stuff.
I'm fine with you two. They're just kind of
Live. That I didn't like him in high school.
they're mid.
And then I went to a show in 1997
Yeah,
on Pop Mart,
yeah.
and my friends were all going to go, so I went. I was like, fuck. I don't even like these guys and whatever. And they are incredible live.
You too?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've heard.
Oh my God. I've seen him 3 times
Yeah.
and blew me away 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
I'll take it. I'll take you two. All right. We just have different tastes there. Just different. Actually, the kind of music we're just talking about rock and roll, just basic kind of like it all hit big bands and stuff like.
Can we agree that rock and roll was saved by Guns N' Roses in the 80s?
I don't know if it was saved, but that was a great record.
Appetite for Destruction.
Oh yeah.
Then
It
there's
was the
Metallica
best.
after that. And during
Metallica-
that and after.
Metallica was before Guns and Appetite.
Yeah, but I think their better stuff was after.
I don't know. Nah, I think Ride the Lightning was the best. That was
Yeah,
their
I would
best
agree with
record.
that. When was that?
I don't know. We should look it up, but
I can't know. That's
so
it.
we can't know. Yeah, they had that record Kill 'Em All.
Yeah.
That was probably 1985,
okay.
maybe a little earlier.
We could have gone full Van Halen, which that would have been terrible. And
Yeah.
instead, we ended up with,
Yeah.
Metallica, Guns N' Roses. Not Warrant, Whitesnake. Nope.
I thought all the hair metal bands got pretty embarrassing.
Yeah.
I think we may be really pushing the patience of anybody who's still listening here. Like they just want to hear our
Fuck them and the horse they rode in on.
they want to hear our playlist from the 80s.
Well,
No,
this is where we ended up tonight.
I'm just trying to think of like I liked I got away from heavy metal and started listening to Jane's Addiction and then that
they're
led
good.
me, and pretty soon after that I started listening to grunge is when that started
Yeah, yeah.
happening.
Can I?
Bleach from came out.
I never got Nirvana.
You never got them?
Never got it.
Yeah.
I was like,
I did. I bought Bleach. I went to like this cool punk rock record store, and the guy told me to get this record called Bleach. It was a cassette,
nice.
and it was Nirvana's first
Yeah.
album, and it was pretty badass. I
I've
loved
learned to
it.
appreciate since, but at the time I'm like, I don't get this.
Oh, I love that. I loved a band called Mudhoney a lot. It was one of my favorite records. What was it called? It was like this long chain of nonsense words. and Soundgarden.
Ah,
So
Soundgarden.
I was-
That's what I was just gonna say.
Yeah, Soundgarden was great.
They were great.
So all right, I guess we could
See?
still
Look at that now.
we could still keep doing the podcast. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
all
all
right.
right.
Okay.
I'm out of beer,
wait,
and I gave you my beer,
Pearl
and
Jam?
now I'm really no. You know what? I probably appreciate them more now, but no, I never liked Eddie
didn't get
Vedder's.
Pearl Jam at the time.
I didn't like his voice.
I would agree.
I don't know why. It just seemed whiny in a way where the other ones were more badass, or something like that.
Kurt Cobain was a little whiny.
He was, but shouting whiny, whereas.
Oh no, not me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was like
all right.
angry whine, whereas I think Pearl Jam
Eddie
was
Wine's
sad,
whine?
sad whine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't care for Pearl Jam in high
Yeah.
school. Went to a show in 2000 at Alpine Valley Music Theater with a bunch of friends. And
right.
because I didn't like Pearl Jam, I was like, well, I'll drive. It was late October, snow. Like there are flurries in the air. And they came out, and they're kind of famous for putting on amazing live shows.
Yeah.
And I can remember Eddie Vedder saying, as long as you guys stay out here, we'll stay out here.
Oh my
And
God.
they played for like 3 hours.
Wow.
In the cold. And then at one point he paused, and I know this because there is, of course, there was the recording, because they used to release like the various recordings of what they were doing live.
Yeah.
This one was released, and he said, if anybody ever gets the bootleg of this, lock yourself in a freezer and you'll know how we feel. And they kept playing.
Wow.
And I remember being blown away, and I don't
Yeah.
really listen to Pearl Jam.
Yeah.
And then I saw them when they were here.
Yeah.
They played Moline probably 8 years ago. And it was incredible.
Yeah.
And apparently every show is a different set list, like wildly different. And so they played the album No Code from start to finish in Moline. And he's like, that's probably the first time in 20 years we've done that. The first time we've ever played here. So thanks for singing along. It was pretty cool.
Did he say, how are you, Rock Island? And everybody booed him?
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like on The Simpsons.
Yeah.
No, he kept saying, kept calling it Moline. He was like, saying
remind
Moline
himself where-
rather than Quad Cities, though.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. It's like, I'm in Moline. That's like,
I think that's the right way to do it. You don't want to just say you're the Quad Cities.
Right. Well,
Yeah,
I
'cause-
wanted him to say that.
Yeah, but that's not understanding how much the Iowa and Illinois sides, like that great rivalry between those two sides.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
Iowa side's way better.
Oh, sure.
Come on and defend yourself, Illinois.
Yeah, Illinois. I thought it was really funny when I moved here and you'd meet somebody from Iowa and you were in Illinois. Oh, fucking. Or they, no,
You
I don't.
live in Illinois?
I don't go to the Illinois side.
Yeah, Illinois.
And then you'd be like, we're talking about, a half a mile across a river.
It is.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. It's not. I remember when I first moved here and I heard that, I was like, wait, are people, is that really, like this isn't far. And now I'm like, oh, they live in Illinois. Like, oh, forget it.
You
We can't be
finally
friends.
become a local.
Oh,
huh?
I'm totally local now.
Yeah.
You haven't given in?
I have a hard time caring about that particular distinction, It's I just whatever, it's like all Midwestern sort of suburban.
Cold. It's suburbia.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, urban sprawl.
It is.
Whatever kind
Yeah.
of a place. And there's nice neighborhoods and there's not nice neighborhoods. And some of them are on one side, some are on the other,
Totally
et cetera,
true.
et cetera,
Yeah,
et cetera.
Yeah, yeah.
But here we are on the Iowa side, so maybe we should trash Illinois.
Yeah.
I
Fuck
do.
those guys.
You know who sucks is Port Byron. That's right across the way
Right
there.
there.
Yeah. See it? If you're watching the video, come. And if you don't like it, Port Byron,
Come
get
on
your
over.
ass over here and defend yourselves.
And on that, I
Yep.
think we can end.
All right, let's do it. And see y'all.
That was fun. This very fun.